As Chancellor of the University, I shall now proceed with the conferment of an honorary degree. Would Eleanor Frances Catton please come forward? The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Grant Guilford, will read the citation.
Chancellor, Eleanor Frances Catton is a New Zealand writer whose outstanding success as the youngest ever winner of the Man Booker Prize has catapulted her to world acclaim. This award in particular acknowledges the success of her novel, The Luminaries, which is only the second novel this gifted young woman has written. Eleanor completed her undergraduate studies at the University of Canterbury. She has a Master of Arts in Creative Writing from Victoria University, graduating with distinction in 2008, and achieved first-class honours in English literature, also from Victoria, in 2009. In 2008, she was awarded a Glenn Shaeffer Fellowship to the Iowa Writers' Workshop, widely regarded as one of the world's premier writing schools, where she graduated with a Master of Fine Arts. Eleanor's talents became apparent at an early age. In 2007, aged 22, while completing the Master of Arts in Creative Writing at the International Institute of Modern Letters, she won the Sunday Star Times short story competition. Her debut novel, The Rehearsal, was written as her master's thesis, for which she won Victoria's annual Adam Foundation Prize in Creative Writing for the best portfolio submitted in the master's program. The Rehearsal was published by Victoria University Press in 2008 and Granta United Kingdom in 2009 and had outstanding reviews. The Rehearsal has been translated into several languages and published in a number of countries. It received the New Zealand Society of Authors Hubert Church Best First Book Award for Fiction at the 2009 Montana New Zealand Book Awards, as well as the UK Society of Authors 2009 Betty Trask Award and the Amazon Canada First Novel Award in 2011. The Rehearsal was also shortlisted for the Prix Feminine Literature Award, the Guardian First Book Award, the Abroad category of the Prix Medicus, the University of Wales Dylan Thomas Prize, and longlisted for the Orange Prize. Eleanor has been acknowledged with a string of other accolades, which is remarkable for an early career writer. She won the 2008 Lewis Johnson New Writers Bursary, was named one of Amazon's Rising Stars in 2009, and received the New Zealand Arts Foundation New Generation Award in 2010. She was awarded the Ursula Bethel Residency at the University of Canterbury in 2011 and the 2012 University of Auckland Residency at the Michael King Writers Centre. This year she was appointed a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit. Eleanor's second novel, The Luminaries, which took her several years to write, has been the pinnacle of her success to date. It was exciting when she was longlisted for the Man Booker Prize, arguably the premier book prize internationally, and truly extraordinary when she became the youngest writer ever to win it. Set in the west coast of the South Island, it is already encouraging book tourism to the region. The Luminaries has also received the 2013 Canadian Governor-General's Literary Award for Fiction, was longlisted for the Bailey's Women's Prize for Fiction, and has been shortlisted for the Walter Scott Prize for Historical Fiction. International reviews of The Luminaries refer to its dazzling qualities, the elegance of the writing, the intellectual power of Eleanor's imagination, and the exceptional skill with which the novel's ambitious scope and historical depth are realised. Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you Eleanor Frances Catton, member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Master of Arts with distinction for the degree of Doctor of Literature, honoris causa in this university.
By the authority of Victoria University of Wellington, I, Ian McKinnon, Chancellor, now confer on Eleanor Frances Catton the degree of Doctor of Literature honoris causa.
It's now my pleasure to invite Eleanor Catton to give the graduation address.
Chancellor of the University, Vice-Chancellor, staff, graduates, whānau, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great privilege to address you on this very proud and optimistic occasion and to join with you in celebrating the achievement of all those honoured today. I am an affectionate alumna of Victoria University, having been inspired in the English Honours programme to set down the first ideas for a first novel, supported by the International Institute of Modern Letters to write that novel, and lucky enough to have then been published by Victoria University Press. VUP is unique in New Zealand for many reasons, but one of the most admirable, I think, is the predominance of debut authors on their list. Every debut author is a financial risk, and in the current climate, most publishers are reluctant to take any financial risks at all, let alone scores of them, gladly and gamely, year after year. When I last crossed this stage 7 years ago, I had only lately met the publisher of Victoria University Press, Fergus Barrowman, at our rented writer's studio on Tennyson Street, where I made him a cup of tea in a mug that leaked and stirred it with a pencil because we were out of spoons, and we sat on 2 chairs salvaged from the landfill, and he offered to take a risk on me. I owe a profound debt of gratitude to Victoria University for fostering and supporting me from the very beginning of my writing career, and to Fergus especially. I am honoured by our association. I know that I have gained a reputation in recent months for being somewhat long-winded, and to prevent this speech from running on to an excess of 800 pages, I would like to focus my remarks upon one word only. In fact, the most important word that I have ever learned. To utter this word requires great courage. To use it properly requires great discipline. And to protect and uphold it is the task and responsibility of every university and government around the world. Without it, I believe we would all be lost. The word is if. In Shakespeare's comedy, As You Like It, the clown Touchstone says, "If is the only peacemaker, much virtue in if." Touchstone is describing a hypothetical situation in which 2 people disagree. Each party has a range of weapons: the retort courteous, the quip modest, the reply churlish, the reproof valiant, the countercheck quarrelsome, the lie with circumstance, and the lie direct. All of these rhetorical strategies are as caustic and as insincere as they sound, and all can be avoided, Touchstone says, with an if. To begin with an if is not to quarrel about what is, but to propose what could be. And this, the free exercise of the imagination, is not a weapon at all. If is a form of conjuration. It calls a new world into being, at first an unformed world of shapes and shadows that over time will thicken and evolve, becoming law and art and science. If is a herald of peace and virtue. It helps us to a better conversation, a better world. Every discovery or advancement in human knowledge began in the first instance with an if. What if the Earth wasn't the centre of the solar system? What if Newton's conception of gravity was only approximate? What if a poem didn't have to rhyme? What if a computer could be made small enough to fit in a single room? Questions of this kind rarely have simple answers. Instead, and much more excitingly, they give rise to more questions. If so, then what? If so, how come? If so, then what about me? There will always be more possible connections between things than there are things themselves. There are more possible relationships between people in this room than there are people. There are more things that could possibly be true than things we know are true already. There are more possible sentences that have not yet been written than there are sentences that already exist. And so too with possible stories, possible songs, possible speeches, or any other possible act of creation in any of its possible forms. Of course, none of this is easily codified or regulated. Inspiration is mysterious and will not answer to a formula, no more than a couple can produce an identical second child by replicating the conditions in which they conceived the first. But the purpose of a university is not to replicate but to enlarge, not to simplify but to understand, not to reflect or serve the world in which we live, but to enrich it through the creation and exploration of an infinity of possible other worlds, some corrective, some cautionary, some preservative, some prophetic, some subversive, some strange, and all conjured from that fearless, formidable big bang of a word, if. To all those graduating today, infinities await. May you continue to ask what if, and may that question give rise to many more. Thank you.